ladies and gentlemen, I will call the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. And we do have minutes to approve. These are for the June 7th meeting.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Second.
Commissioner Stanley, seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And the first item on our agenda is to review the public hearing. We did have a public hearing last evening, but we had no public comments.
I agree with everything said.
So now we will do a review of the 2012-2013 proposed budget. Mrs. Nolan.
We've discussed some changes that we've had along the way and also a proposal. But I want to start with this page that I put on your desk in front of you. This is the Fund 121. This is the one that we said we'd wait to the end. This is the budget that we can't project any revenue, can't budget what you think you might get in the future. Can't do that with this fund, so it's only what is left remaining. And so the recommendation would be, as far as what I would recommend for you is what is listed in the available column that totals $85,114. And just as it is spread this way is what we would show the budget into next year.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, if you don't mind, we'll continue with voice votes because most of these things we've already taken some type of action on, and this will just facilitate things.
Do we need a motion on this one?
So if you'll
Also
give me a
moved.
motion, then we'll do a
Second.
voice vote. Thank you, Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Sadler. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Do we need to insert these as we go?
You can do it at the end.
Okay.
Okay, next is the Election Commission.
Okay, and some of these you'll remember talking about it as we've had our meetings. This change has to do with the voting machine lease. Since we recognized it all in the current year, we need to take it out of both the appropriation and the revenue for next year. So this is a reduction, and I've got the reductions for you on the far right column. So at $141,476, which brings the Election Commission total to $806,623.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Petty. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, this next one is Commissioner Bond's recommendation to the county attorney. It's a reduction of $79,560. I think that Commissioner Bond put this on all of your desks at the last commission. So the bottom line number for county attorney is $259,000.
Motion to approve?
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
No.
you, gentlemen. No, one no.
Let's make it two.
Okay. Commissioner P, Commissioner Stanley. Shall we do a roll call vote, gentlemen?
Yeah,
Or is that-
let's-
Okay.
We can have discussion still, right?
I have one commissioner requesting roll call vote. Call the roll, please. This is for the county attorney.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
No.
Commissioner Stanley,
No.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. 5-2, motion passes.
Oh, can we ask a question on that? I'm just curious as to why something that has been approved, and this is the cost of it, why do you vote against what the final figure is just what's making me wonder. But I probably won't get an answer, so.
Oh.
So we'll move right
Yeah.
on, please. Property assessment.
Now, these next, there's several of these coming up that has to do with the payroll. Remember, we evaluated all the positions. We gave the budgets to all the departments probably a day before we presented to you. So there's been time for the HR department working with the departments to finalize and make sure that we got things in the right place. So these are, next couple ones are just corrections in the payroll. So in the property assessor, the bottom line total is $4,970, which brings their preliminary, to their budget to $1,882,424.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. County buildings?
County buildings, we budgeted, we had to amend, if you remember this last one, that we did $12,000 for the landscaping. This was the second year in the row that we had to amend it up to $12,000, so apparently we haven't had enough money for the last 2 years. So this is fixing that line item to put sufficient funds for the contracts with governments, and then a small change on the personnel. So a total increase of $12,260 brings county buildings to $1,861,403.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Sheriff's Department?
Now, this is the personnel, and it increases bottom line $8,770 to bring their total to $19,058,066.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan.
No.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
The jail was a small change. It really doesn't change the bottom line numbers, just moving 540 from one to the other. So really, this is more FYI because the bottom line number stays
Sure.
the same. Workhouse, there were some increases and decreases, but it nets to an increase of $2,780, which brings the workhouse budget to $3,515,375.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Under disaster relief is the last line on this is the Homeland Security grants. They've spent more since the time that we initially did the budget resolution. This is the number that they've given us to carry forward into the next year. There will be an offsetting reduction in revenue also for this. So $577,218.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sandlin, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
County Fire Department, there are 2 grants from assistance to firefighter grants, assistance to firefighters. Totals $27,804. There'll be an offset of revenue for this one as well. Brings the fire department's total to $771,438.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pease. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Planning, again, this is a payroll line item increase of $950 with benefits and all, brings their total to $752,506.
So moved.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Very small change for the victims assistance program, domestic violence. The position that resides at the district attorney had an increase in her dues of $75. So it brings their total to $161,870.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sandlin, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, now this last one is I'm bringing to you, based on the discussions that took place at our last commission meeting and comments coming from the floor, that I was pleased to hear that the commissioners were realizing that there needs to be a additional position in the office of the mayor. Beyond those comments last night, there have been comments over the years that I've been here too, that extended, and I've been here 9 years. So this is not something new, but it definitely was the first time that was brought on the floor. So in being 100% supportive of this position, I wanted to bring an amendment, not amendment, but a proposal for the county mayors to put a position in there I'm just putting in there for 9 months, knowing that there's got to be a lot of discussion through steering and the HR and the county mayor's office to come together and then present something. But there was one step that we could take care of, and that was to put some funding in the budget. So I've proposed an increase for the county mayor budget of $78,600, bringing the total to $519,586.
I make a motion there to,
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Discussion?
What would the process be and the total salary? And this is a startup for 9 months, but we're, you know,
I think we were up with the number. Of course, again, this is, we pledged out. I was pulling 66% of the mayor's salary. That's where the number came from. The part is fleshing out. So is that your second part? Question. I mean, I said
The process.
I would propose that from now until steering meets in August, that the HR department, county mayor, work something together to be able to present something as far as the job description. I know that I have my thoughts about it. I'm sure that the county mayor and HR all have thoughts too as far as what the position could do and be responsible for. But I would say, think of that as the first starting point, is that the HR department brings something forward to steering. And one other comment that I would love to do is that every department in county government has got a strong second person that supports the position. If I'm asked to stand in for the mayor, they don't see me as speaking for the mayor. They see me speaking for the finance department. In turn, they asked Ms. Stevenson to go. They don't look at her as speaking for the mayor. They see her speaking from the HR perspective. So.
well, I guess start out on the comments. I'm sure everybody's got one. I'm definitely for this. I don't know what the number should be. The job description definitely has to be there to help the mayor out and across the board to relieve some of the pressure that position holds, and has been needed for some time. I've been up here 22 years, and county executive then, Mankin, was up here and was here a long time. You know, I mean, he had to work in that office. He had some good people in that office to help him. But as our county has grown from there, even just in these last 22 years to where it is now, you look at our ending fund was $500,000. You know, $500 million with a B. So last night you were talking about what the mayor proposes and what he doesn't propose. You know, and I looked at, okay, 72% he doesn't propose, but there's 100% that he's involved in with the plan. With you have to, all this has to work together for us to have a continual working budget and to keep our taxes low and to give the best bang for our buck. And all the stuff from the state and everything that you have to do, it just, you know, the mayor is a you know, I used to think I'd love to be mayor one day. I don't. I don't. It's a tough job, and Mayor, you've done a tremendous job, and I appreciate you. Hopefully the other 20 commissioners will stand behind this thing that we're sending, hopefully a budget, to try to help you out here. And I know this is I'm proud it's coming from us instead of you, because I know you'll never ask. You'd never ask for it.
Not for me, I will for someone else maybe.
And
someday.
seeing you how much time you're burning and what all's involved here, it's not good for anybody's health to be doing what he's doing. So I hope that the 21 commissioners will see this as a whole of 21, not just 17, 18, or 19 of them, that this will help us with whoever's in that mayor's position in later years. So,
Yeah, I see this as being a professional position, not a political position.
absolutely.
You know, and I don't think we're stepping on anybody's toes here by bringing this up at this place, because this just gives the county the option. It puts
Yeah.
some money in the budget for this to be an option. And if it doesn't make it through steering or doesn't make it through the commission or whatever, then it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
And this money goes back in the fund balance. If we don't do this at this point in time, we can't have that option for another count, for another budget year comes
Yeah.
around. So,
Yeah.
so we're just putting an option out there, and then we'll see, you know, hopefully it'll work. But, yeah, I know when you were first elected, and John Mackin, yeah, I knew Mr. Mackin, he was a hard-working man. The budget was probably under $100 million back then.
For everything.
For everything.
For everything, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're at 430 something or whatever now, you know, and that's, and that was a full-time job plus then. 10 years ago when I was elected, Nancy Allen was working terrible hours, you know, and the mayor's working even worse hours now, you know, because it's just, it's growing, you know, and one person can't be everywhere at one time. So I support that.
Commissioner
Just,
Shea.
I agree with what the commissioners have said, that we need, but I would like one thing to just bring up for Human Resources when they present to the steering committee on August 1st is a timeline where the decision comes from. I mean, 'cause I think there's been several things that we didn't put our thumb down on, I guess the way you put it, and we didn't have, and it just kind of got set by the wayside, and then all of a sudden we'd come up and try and cram it in a month's time or something, or this type thing, and it's several things. So this one, you know, I want to make it right, and I want the person, I don't want him to be a U.S. Government vice president. I want to see him, this person, whoever it is, to be a working assistant or deputy or whatever to the mayor. But it does relieve some of the problems over some of the hours that he puts in, and the fact that he can't be in two places at once. You know, that's one thing we, you know, unless we get another person, we can't solve that one.
And there are a lot of details to be worked out with this position and some research that will need to be done. But I feel that our HR department is certainly capable of having that ready for the steering committee. You're suggesting in August, and I think the routing process can make that work. And I think it's important that if you have some ideas, that you present that to the HR department also, and stay actively involved in the process.
I think that doesn't go for just those of us here, but I think
Yeah.
the other 14 commissioners.
Exactly.
Takes a minute to get that, but that their listener, they will read the minutes on that they get involved in it also.
You know, and I don't know if it's assistant is the right terminology.
No.
I don't know if vice mayor is the right terminology. I don't know if county manager is the right terminology, but, you know.
That's another detail.
Yeah, it's another detail that we really got to put a.
That's right.
There needs to be a lot of study into qualifications.
Right.
It doesn't need to be a popularity contest. It doesn't need to be a stepping stone for the next mayor.
Right.
It needs to be somebody who's got either a certain amount of experience or education or some stuff that's got business experience or something like that. And I mean, that's why I said I don't want this to be a political spot where somebody thinks they can slide in that spot and be the next mayor after this mayor. I would hope this wouldn't be a stepping stone job. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
From my perspective too, you know, one of the jobs of the county mayor is the purchasing agent for the county. So I would want somebody, that, you know, has got a good background in.
Some sort of business
Something
degree or
that came to
business
me was,
experience or something.
I would like to see something like what they do with the U.S. Supreme Court justices. They're appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. I would like this person to, you know, seriously consider that it's appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the commission. And I think that gives you some balance of power there.
Commissioner P.
Well, of all the things that have been said, one thing I want to make clear, this is not something we're trying to do for Ernest Burgess. This is something we're trying to do for Rutherford County, for the mayor's office, because of the workload that we realize, not only that Ernest has, but prior mayors and executives have
Long
had,
term.
and somebody in the future is gonna have. This is a tremendously difficult job, tremendously, and one of the things that I would want this person to be able to do is competency in law and being able to research our state legislation, stay on top of that so we don't get caught by surprise, and we all know we have been, because one person cannot keep up with all that, but to take direction from the mayor's office as far as, delegation. I mean, he's gonna have to be able to delegate to this person, and they're gonna have to be able to take the ball and run with it to report back to him and ultimately, possibly to the commission, depending on how it's structured. But I do agree, this does not need to be a stepping stone for anybody to be thinking that they're gonna launch themselves into a political career or into the mayor's office. That's not what this is about. This is about somebody like a deputy finance director, same thing that you've got there, if you didn't have Blaine, that your right arm would be missing.
Absolutely.
And that's what I see that we need for, our mayors in the future and now.
And that's what I see, every department's got it,
I know what
except
you're
this
saying.
one.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, these have been some really good comments and some good suggestions as we work through the process. Any further discussion relative to the motion?
So this would be going to full commission Friday, the 29th.
It'll be included in the budget.
Right, okay.
And then the rest of the details will happen next fiscal year.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Will this specifically be mentioned at the commission, or?
Instead of rolled in with the
Yeah,
thickness
rolled
of the
in with
budget.
the budget is what I'm saying. Will it be brought up that this is because everything that was said last night, it's different. It's the one thing that's really different than what was last night.
For transparency reasons, we
Yeah.
we should make
And
you or
How do we do
Miss
that?
Heather, somebody
I
say,
was just trying to figure out how do
there
we do
is,
that, because we have the, we'll have the tax levy, and then we have the appropriation resolution, which is just, all that one big thing that sets out the amounts.
I don't know,
So-
is that narrowing and picking on this one position? Because there's a couple of positions somewhere else, and we're not gonna bring them out individually and say, hey, we gotta,
But-
where was it I
Well,
saw?
it's been through the whole
Only-
process, though. This
Yeah.
is come in on the back end. I think it's just as an awareness that this is in
Should
here,
we
I'm sure.
Should we,
Well, say it's
Email-
exploratory
can
is
we-
what it is.
I was gonna say, could we email all the commissioners and just say,
Yeah.
take note that this is included in the budget?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I agree with doing that. I'm tired of coming up on the floor at our full commission meetings and getting blindsided by proposals from one commissioner. I'm personally sick of that, so I definitely want to make sure that we do something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether we make an announcement there and let them know this is not binding to them, this is something that they have the choice and opportunity to decide.
I'll send out an email tomorrow.
Okay.
And this
I'll
doesn't,
come and ask for suggestions.
It's just an
Well, it's
FYI
an
that,
FYI that this is what this is in the
Yeah.
budget.
but this doesn't fill that position anyway.
It
It's gotta,
doesn't.
it's gotta go
Right.
through steering and everything, where the other positions don't have to go through all that, so, so there will be plenty of opportunity to flesh this out.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any other business that needs to come before our committee?
Well, yes, I got this last page.
Oh,
This
just
last
the total.
page
Yeah.
then sums up everything that we've done. Well, you see that line in the middle on the revenue and the appropriation, that line is just where we were before we went to public hearing.
Mhm.
So our new revenue for the general fund is $72,207,257. Then total appropriation for the general fund is $75,868,019.
How much is that less than last year, just roughly?
Well, you got right beside, darn it, hold on.
No, it was
I
on
had
that
it
last
last night.
night. Was it like 2 million less or so, something like that?
Well, we've got a lot of increases in the current year when you look at the appropriations, because it reflects all the changes out of the restricted litigation tax to do all the work that the sheriff's So
Mhm.
when you compare it to this year, it's gonna be less.
Okay.
I don't think I had, yeah, I did have the amended in the general fund last year. I'm gonna back up for 10-11. Our amended budget was 73,000,003.
Okay.
The current year is 78,000,004.
Okay.
And so this is 76. It's 475. Do we need a motion?
Commissioner
Yeah.
Schaefer.
I just,
Do you feel like we should have a motion on that?
I like this, yeah.
oh,
You feel like we
It should
should?
be an appropriation resolution.
I'll
Okay.
make a motion that we
Thank
approve the
you.
appropriation
Thank you,
resolution.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bond. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes, okay. This is something that's bugged me for several years, and I know I'm not the only one up on this committee or on this commission. And that's the unfunded mandates we get. I know that our finance director says that it's Tennessee code law or something that we're mandated to educate the children, yeah, and I guess maybe even the adults in this state. And it's our responsibility. But so often, they change things and they just stick it on and they don't think it through. And when I say they, I'm talking about the state of Tennessee, the General Assembly. I think we get some of that also we've gotten from the federal government, such as the road signs that had to all be changed and this kind of stuff. And what I would like, I'm not even gonna propose it tonight, but I would just, whoever's on budget next year at the beginning, that we seriously look into creating another fund. We don't even have to me, I don't think you have to put money into a fund to have one.
Under the new rule, you have to have.
Well,
you do. I mean, there's counting rules on special revenue funds. You've got to
Okay.
have.
Okay, well, we
There
do
will-
this, we can figure out a way to put in a minimal, very minimal amount unless we need it. But what it is, and I'm gonna call, the state and federal unfunded mandate fund, or something to that effect. And I'd like, the six, y'all that are here to think about that for the future, and I hope the rest of the commissioners do, because that, if we can figure out a way to do that, if we get forced in to raising money sometime, somehow, and it's because of what others have said we have to do, you know, we right now, we've just gone along with it. The only choice we have is to take it to court. And so my thought is that if we put up a fund and it says where it's from, that then we can take the quote special monies that we need in certain ones, and we can take the portion of the penny or whatever it is we need out of that. And that's it's been bugging me really a lot this year with the 9 new math teachers and the 4 new chemistry teachers and the 3 extra ESLs that we got hit with. That's more so than the raise that the state gave to some of our educational people that wound up costing the county more than they put in, or depending how you look at it. So I've said my piece. Thank you.
What bothers me is some of that's in the school system, some of that's
Yeah,
at the
well-
jail, some of that's at the highway department. I don't know. I like the idea. And we can blame the state and say, hey, we had to raise taxes 7 cents to pay for these unfunded mandates, but then we
Yeah.
have to break it back down to go to those individual funds that think of.
But that's why we have
Figure it
a
out.
finance department. It comes up with creative accounting.
Okay, so that's in the minutes versus, right? Gentlemen,
You
anything
have a
else
whole
that needs
year
to
to
come
think of
before our
it.
committee?
I hate to throw in the advertisement, but we have changed locations on the Blackman Barbecue. It's at the Lane Agri Park this year. So if you're planning on going to the Blackman Barbecue, it's at the Lane Agri Park. And it's Friday night
If you go
from
by
5 to 8, so be
Blackman
there.
Community Center,
Thank you.
It's hard to see where it is. It's in
Building area, or is it gonna be in?
Just follow the signs. You'll see everyone.
All inside,
Yeah.
no standing outside in the hot heat,
That's
listening to the
right.
band and the
That's
music
right.
and all, it's all inside.
Cool air.
Wonderful atmosphere.
It's nice. Will'll be there.
I'll be there.
Gentlemen,
I've been
anything
going
else
to
that
them
needs
for
to come
48
before our
years.
committee? We are adjourned. Thank you,
I
gentlemen.
know
Thank
that's
you.
the very first.